allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I do want to announce that this meeting is being recorded by NRSD in conjunction with Templeton Community TV, and is provided to Templeton Phillipston Cable Access TV. And I would like to plug that they have a YouTube channel. They post things on Facebook, so go find them. You'll find all our meetings plus a ton of other community events. It's wonderful. Our first order of business is approving some meeting minutes. We will do them by date, so I would entertain, when someone's ready, a motion to approve the meeting minutes of November 13th, 2019. I have a motion. Do I have a second? And I have a second. Any comments or questions on the minutes for November 13th? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries unanimous. Next, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of December 4th, 2019. I have a motion. Do I have a second? Motion and a second to approve the meeting minutes of December 4th, 2019. Any questions or comments on those minutes? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries unanimous. And lastly, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the December 11th, 2019 meeting. I have a motion. Do I have a second? And I have a second. Any comments or questions on the minutes from December 11th, 2019? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries unanimous. And thank you, Susan, for these great minutes. Bills and payrolls. I would entertain a recommendation to accept the bills and payroll warrants as they've been presented. I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second first. So yeah, we have a second. All right. And any questions or comments on those bills or payrolls? Hearing, seeing none. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries unanimous. Next up, we have our student, student representatives. They have a report they'd like to share.
Yep. So starting at the high school, the boys and girls basketball teams have their seasons that have started. The winter track season is underway, and so it's co-op wrestling and co-op maybe volleyball.
The National Honor Society is sponsoring a shoe drive, so there'll be free admission to the boys' varsity basketball game on January 27th with a donation of a pair of lately worn shoes.
The high school is hosting a Roaring 20s themed dance on January 25th.
Mid-year exams begin next week. We're already halfway through the year. It's perfect.
At the middle school and high school level, ski club has started going up to the mountain to have some fun times on the slopes.
The middle school had a lot of school spirit right before the holiday break. They had a pep rally with all kinds of games to muster up to the school spirit.
And the middle school student council visited the Baldwinville nursing home to Christmas Carol.
At the elementary schools, there was the first student council meeting at Phillipston Elementary, which was pretty cool.
And right before the holiday break, the first graders had their Christmas play. And in addition to all of this, one thing that I was really excited about that happened in the high school was that an idea that came from the Student Advisory Council, Central Mass Student Advisory Council, was that the high school hosted a refresh day. So instead of going to classes the half a day before Christmas break, we got to participate in different workshops. Like I went to volleyball and watching Elf, and some people like bake cookies. So it was a great like mental health day for kids to kind of de-stress before the holiday break.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? What did they call that day?
A refresh day or a mental health day.
Mental health.
Thank you. And so there's a lot of schools in Central Mass that are doing this? Is that,
I know that Hudson High School has a really advanced program. Like they have therapy dogs come in and like aromatherapy professionals come in. So theirs is really established. But lots of schools are moving towards the trend.
Yeah. It was an idea that was brought up at the State Student Advisory Council that was spread pretty much throughout the state.
And from what I understand, I know our basketball teams are doing well. We have swimming to go up going on as well. Is it volleyball? Did we do volleyball?
I think
No.
volleyball and
I was
swimming.
gonna say, I think just swimming.
Swimming and wrestling. And
And
hockey.
hockey.
Hockey. Our hockey team won their first game,
In
Yes.
many years.
so that was very excited. There are a few participants that we have were extremely excited about it.
Thank you. All right, public input. Is there anyone who would like to speak or address the committee? Seeing none, we'll move on. NDEA, I don't see our rep here tonight, so we'll pass over that comment. Next up will be our business manager's report, so I'll turn it over to Mrs. Geister and ask for an update. We have some reports that have been shared with us, and they're out in the public as well on our agenda.
There's really nothing new going on with mine. I did add a treasury report to your list. You can take a look at that. I'm not sure answer any questions. If you have any, I can certainly find out the answer to that. Sum it up.
What do you think balances? It's that simple.
It's that simple.
So this treasurer's report represents the actual cash balances in
Yes.
all of our accounts.
Yep.
So that's the difference between our management reports, which are budgets and expended. They all should somehow work together and add up, and the report requires that, but this is actually cash balances. Great, thank you for providing that. It's good to see. Anything that we should be concerned with at this point? I did notice there were a couple of our major line items that were in the red, and we kind of touched on those. And we'll do some adjustments later on. When,
Yeah, that district leadership that you're talking about, the 1,000, what has pushed that over is obviously the expenses of our joint town meetings that we've had.
And then fixed charges were, we've tried to discuss, and I will let you.
Yeah. It's the insurance, because I just have an extra payment holding from that, hopefully we'll have to put this week's.
Hoping that will work itself out.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions or comments for Marie at this point? Thank you. Our grants I looked at, we have the normal cycle of payments and, all right. If nothing else, we'll move on to school improvement plans. Ms. Please, can you give us the overview and answer any questions we may have, or if we'd like to spend more time with them, we can certainly follow questions after the fact.
Sure.
Back to her, but we'll let you start with.
So you can open them up. I'm going to start with the elementary school improvement plan. They all follow the same pattern. So there's a key at the top for you. We did a little bit of an unusual thing in these plans by updating you on the work from last year. So that's the first column. If you look at the second or third page, you'll see what I'm talking about. The middle column is this year. We're kind of looking to have those school improvement plans approved. And the last column is a preview of what we expect to continue in our school improvement plans. At the very top, there's a key. So any blue text is revised or new, green is done, red is not done. So for example, and they all start with the district mission, vision, and core values, just to keep that right up front. So if you look at the second page, which is School Initiative 1.2, implement research-based instructional practices in the blue box, you'll see that you'll begin, as you scroll down, you'll begin to see some green highlights. That means those actions were done last year, just so you can kind of take stock of that. But then you get to a place where there's some For example, it says for each unit, grade level teams will identify and mentor text for the unit of study. That's something they did last year. They don't plan to continue, so that's why it's red.
So that would have happened when they went to update it for this coming year. They said, no,
That's
that's
right.
not something that.
Yeah, we did it. It worked out well. We don't need to continue that. The next thing is in blue lettering, and that explicit academic vocabulary. It's gray in the 2018-19 year because it wasn't an initiative then, but they plan to do that this year and moving forward next year. So that's basically how they're all going to be coded. If something is green, it's been done. If it's white, it's probably a future date, so we haven't indicated done or not done. If it's gray, it depends where the gray is. If the gray is in the 18-19 school year, that's because it's a new initiative or a new addition to the school improvement plan, and so we grade it out. If the gray is this year or next year, it's because it was something we had last year, but we don't plan to continue it. So it's unusual that we have all three at once, but given the time of year, we wanted to take advantage while we were revising these of looking at what things we did last year, what we accomplished, what we feel we need to continue on with, and what new things we need to add. So each of the plans follows the same format. Yes.
Clarification on
Sure.
where it says activities go across the years and then under it is a bunch of others.
I'm sorry. Where are you?
Months.
Oh, okay.
Months.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
It's okay. I originally
Got it.
we originally had the September to August, but we changed it and made it August to July because we really begin the work of the school year in August, not in September. So they are.
Makes sense. Does anybody have, I know that we haven't had a lot of time to look over these, and just as a housekeeping, the school committee doesn't have to approve these because that's something the superintendent does. But we do review them and ask questions, obviously. Does anybody have any active questions at this point that they'd like to bring up? And if not, we can certainly follow up with additional questions or comments, or if we need to even ask any of the principals to come in if we've got anything in depth we want to discuss. So does anybody have any current questions that they'd like to ask?
They were all also really well aligned with the district's strategic improvement plan. So what we've said to principals is their work needs to follow the lead of the district work, but they don't have to do everything the district is doing. They might do a piece of it and they do it in a certain way that fits their building. But if they're doing work within their school improvement plan that is not found in our district plan, we have to ask ourselves, why are we doing that? Or why isn't it in the district plan? So they're very well aligned, which is nice. So we're all heading in the same direction in different ways.
I would like to take a question from that.
I'm just curious, is there a place that we can see that? Like,
Sure, the school improvement plans from last year should be posted on the district website already because those were plans that we developed last year. And after this meeting, we'll put this year's plan in a format for this year and post that. I'm going to make a note to do something for that.
And they actually are, if you go out to our public agenda, they are posted on the public side, I believe, so you can be able to take a look at what we're looking at here. Yes, it's in public comments, so you could, in public context, so you would be able to see it on our attached to our agenda.
Thank you.
All right, well, if no one has any questions at this point, one, I would like to say, please extend our thanks to all the principals and their site councils and all the teachers and staff. I know that everyone gets involved at some level with putting these together, and it starts at the top with the work that I know that has been done, yourself, Dr. Kaznet, and everyone else in central office, the district improvement plan. So please pass along our thanks for the thoughtfulness that I think these have been created with. Personally, it's nice to see them organized, and it's easy to follow why we're doing something and what it should help us with as it relates to the district improvement plan, which again also then feeds up into our strategic plan. So this is nice that we have a consistent format, and there's some method to madness. So, anybody have anything else on that? Okay, let's go out tonight. All right, the next thing on our ongoing business agenda was the superintendent goals and objectives mid-cycle review. I wanted to bring up, I met with Dr. Kazavant, and I wanted to bring up to the committee one of the new things that the Department of Ed has brought forth is a new superintendent evaluation tool. Two things on that. You should be seeing something, and I'll push it out if you don't. There will be a session on February Thursday, 13th maybe, or Thursday, at 6 o'clock at CAPS to discuss the new superintendent evaluation process. So I just found out about that today. Ellen Holmes is arranging that with NASC Division 4, and it goes to the CAPS, so it's local close to home, so everybody if you're interested, send that out. But part of that, and how it relates to this topic, is what the Department of Ed has said is that we can go and utilize a 2-year evaluation cycle, which is kind of interesting because when the evaluation was put together this year, it was actually done in a 2-year format. It's like someone had a crystal ball and he was putting his goals together. So what I wanted to ask the committee, because at the time we had approved using the old cycle, is would we want to entertain updating our methodology for superintendent evaluation to follow the new format, which would mean our actual midterm evaluation would happen in the June timeframe. In November, what's attached to the agenda is what Dr. Kazavant had provided to us with where he was, and we did give him some feedback. But we would do the formal mid-cycle evaluation in June, and then the ending of the evaluation the following June. But I would like the committee to make that decision, because we do need to vote on that would be the approved methodology that we'll use for the time frame. And then we'll talk about the tools we'll use. It'll be an online form and whatever else we'll get that ready for June. So I would entertain a motion, or someone just telling me, knock it off, we're not doing it. Either way, someone let me know what they'd like to do.
I make a motion to follow the new cycle.
So I have a motion that we do go on with the new cycle, and I have a second on that. So any questions or comments? Sure.
Why?
That is because we've got fiscal year, so that'll be the end of July 1st, I guess, maybe would be. But I would think at our June meeting, we could do our evaluation of what's happened in the prior year.
And then get with adding the second year in June, is that
Right, so 2021 would be our formal evaluation. What we do in the midterm would be, are we on target? Here's our feedback. We should never wait until 2021 to give any sort of feedback. So we'll have, what I would actually like to see is, yes, June will be the formal evaluation, but I think maybe in December, we do another quick checkup so that when we get to the following June, there's no surprises at that point. So,
All of it, we put on the agenda for
Yeah.
or something like that, so this would be really into the front of us.
yeah. And I think that ties into what we've also spoken about, because it's all kind of together, is looking at the strategic plan on a more formal schedule, looking at the district improvement plan, which is part of the street. So I think, yes, this all becomes part of those discussions. So I would agree.
Madam Chair, what I would also suggest is that the strategic plan, which both our goals are focused, it won't gather dust, which, I think is important, because the strategic goals of the district obviously are, charged. So nothing that you have to look at at times. No, all of us, by the way, and it keeps us all on target, because they can just go still pretty easily.
So my only concern with being June is, and not that I see this happening with Dr. Casper, but in the event that one of our superintendent gets a not a very glowing review at the end of the 2 years, do you want to wait until that June to give them that opinion or that review and then have them leave? Whatever year it is, I'm just saying if this is what we're adopting.
Yeah, but I think that's where we said we're not going to, with the formal midterm evaluations in June. This will be on our agenda to discuss where we are throughout the process.
We're all going to see the writing.
And here's the, and just, I know where you're going with this, but we have a 5-year contract with Dr. Callahan. So there better be some really good cause that he does something so egregious that it breaks the terms of the, I mean, really.
Well, I think he's singing.
Well, that probably in itself would, yes, get that on tape.
So what are you saying exactly?
So we would follow the 2-year evaluation cycle, which is what the Department of Ed is here. Do a formal midterm evaluation in the first year. So we started in July, and we would do the formal in June. Then we would do the formal evaluation the following June. What we've said though is we've already in November gotten an update. We will put this back on the agenda, well, it'll be on in June anyway. But we will be having on our agenda probably every 3 months or so updates for the strategic plan and the goals because they're all tied together. So we're not going to let this sit until June and not do anything. So it will be addressed, but there's not this formal process that we take and check the box and whatnot. There should always be a 2-week.
We would get feedback prior to, like, when we discuss it better, if we're doing something we're not happy with. Anytime we're doing that.
Okay, and
So are we voting on this being the way it's going to be from now on?
for this cycle.
Okay.
That's it. If it doesn't work out, we don't like the way it happened at the end of 2021, we can think of something else.
Okay.
This at least, we have to vote on it so one, the public knows where our review cycle is, but also so Dr. Cassidy knows, he knows the expectations. And one of the nice things, and I hope that if you're around, you can go to this session that NRSD is putting on, it talks about some of this checking and feedback and what the superintendent can bring to the table to talk about. So I think some of your concerns are valid, may be answered. Any other questions or comments? So the motion on the table was to utilize the 2-year review cycle as proposed in the new superintendent evaluation tool that the Department of Ed has put forth. Anything else? All right, seeing no more comments. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? And abstained, so it does pass unanimous. So we will look to a formal mid-cycle review in June. And again, had some preliminary conversations with Kate on how to automate some of that. But we will make sure this gets on our agenda in January, March, so probably in March. So we can at least review things and get updates on where we are, especially in the budget cycle as well. So. Next up, school committee comments. Do I have any school committee comments? Come on, Jeff, say something.
I guess the only thing I want to say is I did attend the football scores award ceremony a couple of weeks ago. And, I was really impressed with the coaches, the coaching lists, the community, the way the coaches follow students, not only on the field but off the field as well. I was really impressed with that. The interaction between the coaches and students, I thought it was great. I didn't realize it previously, the way that a lot of student players come back to the coaches later on. I was really impressed with the whole thing. So I just wanted to give those out to especially Coach Bush, where they did a great job. The whole athletic team. That's it.
All right, so we will move on. An out-of-state field trip request that we have in front of us is the approval for the DC trip. You'll see that, there's, in the past, we typically get a ton of details because so many of the details are done prior to the trip. I had asked that the trip be presented sooner rather than later. We know they're going. Okay, so we should approve the fact that they're going. The details they will work out. We know why they're going, we've seen 100 times, the educational benefits and whatnot. But I wanted the trip in front of us so that if anyone had any concerns, we could bring them up now. So put that out there. It looks like they're going May 19th through the 22nd. So 4 days.
Oh, I got you, yeah, abbreviation, okay. So that's
So if anyone would like to, I would entertain a motion to approve the field trip. So moved. I have a motion, I have a second. Any questions or comments on the trip?
any pricing.
Yeah. The only thing I would like to get probably the back end is every year we talk about how many kids are going, how many aren't. And I think I just read recently, because the next one I'm going to ask about, which hopefully we'll see maybe next month, is the Nature's Classroom. There was a school that just canceled their Nature's Classroom, and a lot of parents had a hard time with that, because for those kids who go, it was all because less than 60% of the students were going, so the educational component of it wasn't for the majority of the students. So I just ask that we continue to look at that, discuss, what's the alternatives to ensure that the students who can't go are able to get some sort of benefit locally here what we do for them. So we can just follow up with that. And then, as I said, I'd like to see maybe next month we get the just classroom trip form. Okay, and then we will see what else to look at that. Okay, so the motion on the floor is to approve the DC trip. All in favor? Aye. Aye, opposed? Abstained, so that is passed unanimously. And thanks, Mr. Hadley, again, for all the work that comes to make this happen. That is not an easy trip. Do we have any surplus items? We've been holding on to this one just in case, because we've always been about to be doing no surplus items. We passed over that. There were no items that have come up within 48 hours, so that we don't need to address. Superintendent report. So Dr. Kessler.
Chair, so in terms of the superintendent report, we talk a lot about school choice. In your packet, the Department of Ed, it's on the website, but basically FAQ in terms of questions. And as we discussed this summer, right, we're discussing school choice and whatnot. There have been some changes, and the state has, made sure that we are that we're following these changes. And ultimately, it's changed the way that we've had to think about school choice and how we choose those students when we accept them. So one of the bigger, there's a lot, I think it's like 50 or so different, or 30 or so different questions. But two of the primary areas that we really had to change our thinking on is one, the selection process. So in terms of the middle school and the high school, depending on what years you're talking about, there wasn't a need for a selection process because we had plenty of room. So if someone from the high school or the middle school from another community wanted to school choice, it was an automatic admission just because we knew that we had the room. At the elementary level, since I've been here since July 1, 2016, I know I often sometimes confuse all the names of the schools, but EES, Volunville Elementary, when it was active, we were really starting to see the building filled to the point where we could not physically have students, in classrooms. There was just too many. So what we did, and this was a pretty common way to do things in this area, is that you'd say, okay, I have 5 spots at the 3rd grade level available, 4 spots here or there, and as people would apply, we would just literally take them by date stamp were that as they applied, we take the top 5, and then as we keep this list of applications by time, by date and time. Okay. Well, that's changed. So what's changed ultimately, it has to be an automated, kind of a random type of selection process. So a lottery. And there are a lot of different ways to do that. There's literally the out of a hat, which is done in some communities. All the names are in a hat or a bowl. In goes the chair, and she pulls out a name. There's that. There's that. There's obviously the lottery process in terms of bingo balls, the whole bit. You can also do right online. You can take the names, and there is basically a randomized generator that you can. It's free. You plug in all the names, and you randomize it, and it just literally just picks 1 through whatever. All right. So we actually had to employ that this year at the elementary level, mostly the kindergarten. As we've talked about, we had at one point 60 to 65 kindergarten applicants who were to that point at this point, and we had to put all their names in, randomize it, and if we had 12 openings, we just picked the top 12. So we did that. We actually did that this year, and then basically notified everyone, 13 and below that they weren't picked, and we would keep them on the list. So the FAQ talks about this. The department says, look, you have to have a lottery, a random process in order to pick. If you're going to keep an active list open, you again do it again in November. So whoever else is on the list, because people might be applying at the same time, you randomize them again, and that is your list for the remainder of the year. Okay, so 2 spots, randomize them, and then pick those 2, and that becomes your wait list for the remainder of the year if you have any openings. Well, the school committee, as we know, we decided not to accept any more school choice children. I forgot the date of the vote, it was somewhere in August, and we said district-wide for a lot of reasons, but we stopped taking school choice, period, which means that there was no wait list, there was no randomization of names, and we just did not accept them as they called or they applied. We simply sent them a nice letter, said them sorry, we're closed for the year, and that's how that, that's how it went. So when November came, there was no request to randomize again, put them in the order, and and keep that in case. That was one, right? That was one major change that we had to initiate. The other is tricky, and so I'm going to use Susan. Susan is a resident, she's a student here, and she's a resident of Templeton. And parents move to a neighboring community. What we've done forever is that was fine. We would just, quote unquote, school choice in place. That means Susan would then stop being a resident, obviously, because the parents have moved, and that we would then, through the EPIMS process, she would just be then reclassified as a school choice student, and for however long her parents lived in Gardner's to be a school choice student. Well, that had to change, and the reason being is, I'm going to go back to the first point. If you have a list available, okay, so I'm going to go back to the point where you've got this list of kids. You've got 12 kids on the list. You've already accepted as many school choice kids. You've got your list established. Just because Susan was a resident one day and became technically a school choice student the next, she doesn't automatically get to stay right in place, basically a school choice in place. She actually has to be put at the bottom of the list. Okay? Now, so let's say it's October, she might get lucky and be randomized and she pops up to the top of the list, but otherwise, she's going to go back on the list. No advantage can be given to a person who's already, or no advantage can be given to a student who's already in place, which the other way to look at that is that people who are on the list should not have a disadvantage because they were placed on the list first. So that is a major shift in which we had to start to think about it. Now, it made it simple in terms of the administration of this process because simply there was no wait list. Using Susan as my example, she no longer is a resident. Now, she could stay. The school committee would have to then vote, probably in, kind of in its entirety, that if we were to do this, that's okay, you could do that, but will not receive money for Susan or any other student from that point on who would school choice in place, right? Well, that sets a dangerous precedent, but okay. Or you have to notify the family that their child, they're now a resident of this community, and because there is no list, and there is no mechanism, they can no longer attend school here. And they have to enroll in their new district. Okay. Well, that's where it's been, of course, as you can probably imagine, those are some very difficult conversations. So we've had a couple of occasions where this has taken place, in which folks have moved, or maybe custody has changed, etc. And their residence, legal residence has changed to another community because we do not have a wait list. A letter had been sent home saying, this will be, your last day as a Narragansett student, and you need to register in your new district. Okay, that has come at quite a shock, as you can imagine, because it's really just a matter for every district around. It's a matter of course. Now, we can continue to do that. Let me be candid that probably no one would be the wiser. There's no mechanism really in place other than someone maybe during some type of school choice audit. I don't know, when did they move, when were they here, but the local superintendents have had many conversations about this, and what we've agreed upon is to follow the rules, and that we're not going to actively recruit school choice students. Yes, we can put in the newspaper that we have school choice openings. If you notice, no one has done that locally, not for a while. One, we just don't feel that the superintendents, as of right now, don't feel that that's appropriate. We just don't feel that we should be advertising out to the people know because they call. Trust me, everyone knows when we have school choice openings because they call and we let them know. The school committee votes. Right? We open school choice or we don't open school choice, etc. To certain grades. So those are two again, there's a lot here, right? There's a lot of these things do not apply to us. Are you a school choice student if you're a ward of the state, etc., etc. Some of this stuff has been tightened up, and it's good for us to have an understanding about this, to make sure that we're staying true to the value of our word, and we've had some difficult conversations. This has spurred the need for the policy committee to look at our policy on school choice, because this will affect that. And I've called we called DESE legal about some of these kind of nuanced issues or very kind of tricky questions, and they've supported the fact that once they become a resident of another district, that they need to enroll in their new district. And the time frame is really up to us, in terms of when we move, etc. We're trying to figure that when is a good time to transition out of the district that way, and we're grappling with that a little bit. The reason why we're bringing it up because we've received a lot of, Susan, I don't know, we received just a call just a couple days ago about, I understand there's this issue, I'm thinking about moving, but I'm not going to move if my child can't stay in the district, and this for me is a school choice. Susan, of course, knows this FAQ very well because she actually receives all of the phone calls. So I thought it was important to update the school committee. And I know that we've talked about it in pockets and in times when it's been necessary, but this has a lot of important information, and it actually changes, or we've had to change the way we've gone about business because of this. So, as we go forth into the new fiscal year, the committee will make a decision whether or not to even take school choice kids at all. You don't have to. You can say you're not in a district that takes school choice students at all. Of course, you can't stop students from leaving. You can't say, well, you can't leave school choice because we don't, we don't accept them. They can always leave school choice, that's always that right. But you can, in fact, and we've done this, we've done it so in certain areas where we've made that decision. So, in short, there's a lot more here, but those are the two basic issues or the conundrums that have come up, say, in the last 3 months.
So can we post this on the website so that the public can have easy access to it? There's a lot of
Just do
information
that,
there.
our school choice section.
Yeah, we have a school choice section.
Employees right now. We're open. We also close the school choice in place like that we had, but.
I mean, there are a lot of details here. Obviously, the department has been collecting all of the various questions they've had thrown at them, because there's an interesting one about twins.
Yes.
And only one gets selected for kindergarten. That doesn't mean the other one gets to come in as a sibling. They actually have to do a year here, and then you could use the sibling preference. If there's an opening, say in first grade, then they would get preference. So a lot of very interesting detail. I wonder what district that was that had that issue.
I actually had triplets last year when we did the lottery, and only one of them picked the lottery.
And I know
So-
policy we didn't discuss.
We're gonna bring it up next time.
Sure, yeah, so it's actually affected the way we
I'm just curious, if, I know, like you said, we spoke about it in policy. Can we make an amendment to this, or is this law?
This is statute, which you have here. Yeah.
But if you read through, and this is
Right.
also, if you read through it, and you will find answers to your questions. The school committee can choose to allow school choice in place for a resident who moves out. Okay? So I think there's a lot of discussion we need to have around that and what it can mean. And, you know, because you don't get paid for that, and a whole host of things. So I think we really need to have a robust discussion about, you know, what may or may not work. What I wasn't clear on, though, and I think that, and maybe if you have a discussion with anybody at the state level, is can that be done on a one-off basis by the school committee, or do we have to have a set policy that says, okay, so any student who moves as of March 31st, we allow to continue knowing, for the rest of the year, knowing we won't get reimbursed for that? Or can you do it one-off by student? Because then I think there could be some discrimination charges thrown. So I would just like to throw that maybe as a question to the state.
That is actually
Is it in here?
not the one-off, but you absolutely can, as you've already said, you, as the committee, you can make that you can literally put that as part of your policy, that any student in school choices, you know, after March 31st, has the, you know, will stay for the remainder of the year, and then they will be put back into randomized section, because that's the other part of that, is that they just don't get to stay forever and ever and ever, that they can do that. But the point is well taken, is once a school choice student, always a school choice student, and are they even considered a school choice student if you're not receiving money? So yeah, it gets sticky. So I will definitely reach out to Jesse to see if that can be covered by policy, and not, because I don't know if you have to keep the child forever. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, because there's so many nuances, and it would be a shame that you have a child who's been embedded for 7 out of the 10 instructional months. And all of a sudden now they're you know, forced to go to your district for the last few weeks of school. I think it becomes,
So that is obviously something that we're working on. Enrollment. So you have a large piece of paper. We're trying to get it to the point where it's on a smaller piece of paper and actually something you can read. But for now, it's on the big piece of paper. So it was requested. I don't remember what meeting, but basically, I usually just report out, right, on numbers. Here is a breakdown of the district. I'll go through it, but basically by district, by grade. So in other words, I'm going to take, I told them today that they're my favorite group, so I'm going to say the district kindergarten students, all the kindergartners, they're my favorite. I'm representing them. Grant, throughout the entire district, both Templeton and Phillipston, there are, again, 85 Templeton students, 16 Phillipston, 13 school choice. District total K, and by that I mean that's the total number, and add them all up. And what I like to know is I like to see how many residents, meaning Phillipston and Templeton, do I have. So that's, of course, underneath the grand total. Just we're doing some work, as seeing, just trend analysis, that kind of thing. So as you kind of look over, grades, certainly those are interesting, but as you look at the individual schools, and then what we did is we grouped them by category, so elementary and middle high school, so to speak. You can see that, you can see what you'd like to see. I mean, you're looking at Phillipston Memorial, has 4 Templeton residents, 72 Phillipston residents, 36 school choice students with a grand total of 112. Templeton has 576 Templeton residents, 16 Phillipston residents, school choice 62 for a grand total of 654. And by the way, this is monthly, right? So as of yesterday, we updated this report yesterday for January, so that's how that looks. Interestingly, one of the things that I always like to point out is that our pre-K, it was interesting, because we always used to have to qualify pre-K wherever pre-K was. So when pre-K was here, we would say, just so you know, pre-K is in Phillipston, so that would sway the number some, right? Because all of a sudden it's like, how are all these Templeton students, in Phillipston? Well, because this is where the pre-K was located, and this is where they had to go, so to speak, right? Well, doing the same thing, but in reverse. So when we start looking at how many total Phillipston students, are in the building, there's the grand number. Yeah, I could go back and say if we exclude pre-K, it's what we have, but it's not in this report, but we do have it. We can just use this subtraction to do that. I always also say that there are not school choice students in pre-K, they are tuitioned in. We just kind of put it there. It says school choice / tuition. There's no school choice in pre-K with tuition in. Middle school, okay, there you go. So school choice, 79, Phillipston residents 40, Templeton residents 254. That's the middle for grand totals 373. And then we kind of go over kind of like, well, what is the whole elementary looking like? There's 766 elementary students in this in each school. OOD is a new category that's out of district. Okay, those are students whom are residents. They live here and they receive services out of district. Okay, and we have a grand total of 8 units of those. Middle high school, you see the same thing. So what does this all mean? Well, you've heard me say before, I like to keep school choice down around by building or by grade. I like to keep that around a class size of kids in case I don't like to see 25, 26%. It's not where we like to be in terms of any one grade or otherwise. Actually, through the elementary levels, we've done a good job with that. Middle school gets high because you have 2 elementary schools feeding into one school. So, of course, school choice is going to probably go up quite a bit. So, the X amount of kids school choice into Templeton and 5th grade, right? And you have X amount of kids school choice into Phillipston, 5th grade. And they come up to the middle school, woof, that number becomes 1, so to speak. So, you see some of the higher. To the end, you have the district. It says preliminary, but it's no longer preliminary because we have the October number. We'll have to take it off. But you're looking at 1,052 district Templeton residents, 183 district Phillipston residents, 244 district choice or school choice, And so for a grand total of, district total of 1,479 students in the district currently as of yesterday.
So that'll be our foundation enrollment numbers?
No, your foundation
Sorry,
enrollment is the
prior
October 1
year.
number, and
Yes.
I can pull
This
that
one
up.
will be for the FY 20.
It's just, this is just the monthly. This is just the monthly, you know, monthly way to go, you know, just as we go every month. Your, give me 1 second. I passed that out when I presented in October, we presented the October number. So the numbers that we will live by, so to speak, on October 1, you guys, you definitely have this in your documents at some point. We talked about it, but 1470 was the total. And at that moment in time, when we reported to the state, we had 1,038 Templeton students, 182 Phillipston, and that's on the really, that's not over, you know. So we gained 9 kids since October. Net. But interesting, if you look at something, I think this is interesting, I'm going to take a look at this a little bit further. We had 1,038 number of Templeton students in this district as of October 1. Double check with Chelsea just to make sure we're all set. Right now you're at 1,052.
14 residents.
Just like this, yeah. And we, what's that? What's that? 105? That's the number for you? Yeah. 1,050. 1, 2, yeah, I know. All the out of districts probably. So anyway, we're gaining students. We every day, if Chelsea was here, she would tell you that every day we are receiving a phone call, but every week we're definitely seeing folks who are enrolling their children. I mean, just now, like, most of them, we have 2 parents this week, yesterday. So, here it is.
Any questions about enrollment, Mr. School Choice? Thank you for presenting that school choice. And there's a lot of changes this year. It is a challenge getting it all together and put into place so that we are in compliance with the state's guidance. So thank you for that. And thank you, Susan, for managing that process so diligently. I know it's not one of your most fun jobs sometimes because you take those phone calls. Why do we get that? But thank you for that. Anything else?
No, that's honestly, that's a lot, so no, thank you.
Next up then, we have a PD update. That Kate was going to do for us. Attached to the agenda was information on August to December PD. And we were just going to kind of go through and let us know how things are going with PD.
Okay, so you have an attachment in your agenda on August to December PD, so PD up to date in the school year. This includes full and half day PDs. I put a list there just for your information so you can see the variety of things that we have offered. We've offered over 45-ish different sessions of PD. Some of them in schools have followed a theme, but then we've also individually met people's needs. Certain teachers needed to learn about writing all portfolios for MCAS, so that was a particular thing just for a small subset. So they're organized by title, but also by district strategic improvement plan alignment. So our strategic plan has 3 pillars. One is communication, another is learner-centered culture, and the third is multi-tiered systems of support. So we now categorize our PD based on how it's supporting one of our district initiatives. So that's how that's organized. If you scroll down, what I did was for each really grade span, elementary is together because they do their PD together, middle school and high school. High school is first. And there's a red note at the top because when Google makes these pie charts, it doesn't keep strongly agree always red or agree always blue. So you have to read the label, not look at the color. So what I did was, I just gave you a quick summary. The high school participated in several sessions on moving from engagement to empowerment so that teachers could learn about moving students from being good kids, sitting in the class, complying, to being engaged in the content, and then even further to empowering them as learners to take some ownership of their learning. So they had a theme, and what I did here was I did not give you pie charts of every one of the 45 PDs. I pulled the main theme that the high school had that I just described, and I gave you pie charts on those. So if you scroll through, for the high school, you can see for these various categories of supportive climate, content is organized, teachers can apply their learning to their own classroom. We encourage collaboration. The learning goal of the PD was made clear, and it was aligned with the district initiatives, those categories. You see very positive results. 100% of people agree there was a strong supportive climate, and then in the other pie charts, you'll see there's a few percentage points of people that were neutral, but every category was 90% or better agree or strongly agree for the high school. Does that make sense? Okay, so that was really positive. If you look next at the middle school's really focused on social emotional learning and how those competencies of social emotional learning make students ready for academic success. And in the same categories, remember colors like vary, the middle school was essentially 100% in every category, strongly agree or agree. The last group is the elementary, and the elementary had two focuses, one on PDIS supporting behavior in the classroom, but of course, because the elementary had this substantial investment in a new reading program, we wanted to provide teachers PD on how to use that reading program, what the resources were, and to support them in implementation. That's a really key piece when you adopt a new curriculum, because it's not recommended to just hand a new curriculum off to teachers without that support, because we want that implementation to be very successful. So their PD also was strongly rated. You will see in elementary a couple areas that might look different to you. For example, the third pie graph that has a bunch of colors about it applying to their content. Keep in mind, if you are a math teacher, that elementary literacy PD isn't going to apply to you. So we did our best to provide them different options for those days, but it is a little bit of a disparate audience. The other part of it is that we provided some writing PD in relation to that. In the writing PD, we did include all teachers because writing should be across every content area. So there's a little difference of opinion there, but overall the elementary results as well are really very, very positive, except for that one category. I would say 90% or better strongly agree or agree in elementary. In a couple categories, there's some neutrals. So really something to celebrate, that the major PD, which we have aligned to our district improvement plan, and our school improvement plans are aligned to the district plan. PD supports that, and teachers have rated it positively.
numbers, it's nice to see them trending year over year. Positive results.
Sure.
Remember, way back when it was disparate. What the teachers thought they needed for PD, what the district thought, so it seems there's really a convergence of what was being presented in the village to what they do, so thank you.
The numbers that we have, how they correlate to the attendance, the people attending. So
Oh, what percentage of people reply?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that, and it's definitely not 100%. But virtually every teacher participates. You don't get your PDP certificate, and PDPs are based on, is what you need to renew your license. You don't get that unless you fill out the survey. So we have a strong carrot to fill out the survey. And obviously, we want that feedback because we want the PD to meet their needs. And if we don't hear their voice, we can't do that. So, but there are some teachers who have, 1,000 PDPs and don't really need them and don't fill it out. But there's a strong incentive for them to do so.
Any other questions? Seeing none, we'll move on to our subcommittee reports. The first being the academic administrative, which Mrs. Tripolo chairs, and she's not here in her absence, and Mrs. Cole will glad to speak. I'll say that most everything we've discussed, we've brought up at this meeting. We will be at that subcommittee meeting. We put some preliminary data reports that we'll do some more reports out to this group as they get firmed up and we've had a chance to look at some things. But I think that was the bulk of it.
We talked about intervention, reading intervention in the elementary.
Next up is finance. We met prior to this just to have a discussion about what the budget looks like and where we're going. The committee has announced that we will be doing a public hearing on February 4th at 6:30 in the Kiva that will discuss the FY21 budget. We normally do our first public hearing towards the end of February, beginning of March. We want to move this up so that we engage the community after what we went through last year. We want to have discussions early. The Finance Committee will be meeting a couple of times before then and to come up with some content and some information. So we will be having that posted. It will be advertised, I believe, in the newspaper. We have to have that advertised as a hearing. And it will be a school committee public hearing. So there's a whole list of things that we have to abide by, the policies and how to run them. So that's just about all that I have, I think, for finance at this point. We've really taken a raw look at numbers and don't have anything to report out yet. So more to come. Facilities. Mr. Mason, Ms. Marks, who'd like to do a net?
So we met, 1 week or so ago, along with everything that we were kind of going back now, to put a good plan together, with the finance and we're trying to get reprioritizing all of the needs that the district has, and we are really trying to get estimated construction costs with that, so that when we come back to the finances, we'll have something. That's pretty much it.
Great. Policy, we don't have any formal second readings since we didn't bring the first readings up, but we do have 3 policies that Mrs. Bolger will introduce and discuss.
First one is JJF, and it is a proposed update. Basically deals with student activity fees. Anne Marie and Chelsea helped us with this, and they updated the language, and they worked with suggestions coming from our auditors that we looked at other districts. I would like to ask Dr. Kazabin, have you gone over this at all with your administrative team?
We did a while ago, actually. That's the answer to this.
So they have seen this, so they know, so the graduation, the graduating class, the advisors and the officers know what has to be done with the money.
I will say too that I know that, I don't know if it's trickled that far down, quite frankly, but in terms of the administrative thing on our end, yes.
Would you ask that it be trickled down, please? So if that is the case, then could we forego a second reading and pass this along, or would you rather just wait until the next meeting, give it a go? I know we have to get it on the books because of our auditors, but would you wait? Any idea?
This is a pretty big change to the current process, right?
Yes.
Yeah, some of it is.
That's number 3.
You want to wait?
No.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I would entertain a motion for us to forego the formal policy process we have for the first and second reading and go ahead and do second and final reading.
So moved.
Actually, I had Hank, so first, didn't finish.
Second.
I have a second for Mrs. Cody. Any discussion on the policy? I just want to ask one thing, and it's a leading question, but I don't know the answer. Once this policy is in place, you will be developing procedures that will support all of these changes. So that, I think as Mrs. Cody said, the change to what the graduating classes have to do with their monies, clubs, etc., monies that we take in student activity accounts. So. Any other questions or comments? Okay, so hearing none, motion is to go ahead and put into place
JJF, and it is the student activity fund. It's under student stuff. Also, it's under J.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? So that does pass unanimously. So you don't have any policy that you can make.
And the next two policies are new as well, brand new, and it's remote participation. And then there are policy procedures with that one. BEDL is the remote participation policy. BEDL-R is the one that also has procedures. So I'd like you to look at them, and then we'll do this will be the first reading, and we'll do the second vote at the next meeting, because this is brand new to us. So I'd like you to have a chance. If that's okay with everyone?
So make a motion
Yeah.
for
Yes.
first reading.
First reading on those policies.
BEDL and BEDL-R.
Okay, so we have a motion, and we have a second. And we have a second. Excuse me, any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, that passes unanimous, so that will have the second reading at next month's meeting. I will just throw out there that there are some guidelines that are in the open meeting law that talk to this, so we've captured what those regulations are, and that's what you'll find in here in this hot links.
And we checked with other schools. Margaret did, she gave us other copies, and so we kind of combined a couple things that were already done that worked out well for us.
Right, long-term planning.
Mostly talked to finance, and we kind of discussed that in the finance committee meeting, so there's really not much to report.
I will add to that though, just because it's been confirmed, we have a tri-board meeting scheduled for January 27th. I keep screwing the date up. It's a Monday. And one of the presenters for us will be Mars on regional agreements, which is something the long-term planning committee has spent a lot of time talking about. They will be giving us a presentation on their approach and process, and then we can take it from there. So everyone knows that will be happening.
About that too.
Say something right up there. Templeton Elementary, I don't know if you guys have held, they're still having regular meetings. I don't know what your schedule is like now that we're operational at this point.
Okay.
Thanks, you all.
Well, it was the Snow Summit. That's what we're calling it.
And then the other piece with the elementary schools release, Dr. Cassidy had forwarded out what we've received back, and there's also a meeting tomorrow, face-to-face with Templeton, just to go through what they're requesting and get and then report that back out to the committee once that happens.
And then go meeting?
Yes. EMS building committee, any updates? No?
Well, our last meeting was for the forum, so nothing happened, haven't been. Yeah, I don't know.
Good. May I have a quick building or to keep the heating
Yes,
units?
but that was the, not my gym, but this. Okay.
Yeah, actually, it's November, right? It was an election day?
Yes.
Is that-
Yeah, and then the old section, happens over the summer.
So that's what we look forward to an update at our next meeting. Correspondence, I don't think there's any correspondence for us. Upcoming meetings, the next meeting for the committee is February 12th, which is Wednesday at 6 o'clock in Makita. I mentioned already, there's a tri-board meeting scheduled for Monday the 27th at 5 o'clock in the library. I did want to just alert the school committee to a couple other meetings that if you're interested in going to. I forwarded you an email from Mars that on February, exact date, February, February 11th, yes, is the next Mars general meeting at 9:30 at Neshoba. You're all invited to attend. The email I sent has a link you can click on to register. It's 2 sessions. First will be with the Rennie Center. They will be presenting their state of education. They are doing it in another forum, but apparently there's a conflict with, I believe, the superintendent event. So Mars has partnered with the Rennie Center to offer this again. And then the second half of that will be a presentation by the Department of Ed, Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. I believe Jay Sullivan and Rob O'Connell will be there, plus some Mars representatives to talk about minimum local contributions. And there will be lunch provided. There's going to be a working session. So if you're interested in going, there's links there. Additionally, in March on the 13th, Friday the 13th, if you might remember, at 8:30 up at Neshoba again is the Mars Legislative Breakfast. Mars has reached out to the legislators. They're waiting to hear back confirmation who will be attending. Every year we do this, and you're invited to attend. So breakfast is whichever that Neshoba has what they call it. Breakfast, and then the legislators speak, and you can ask questions. So that is open to all superintendents, managers, members of Mars. So those 2 things. The other thing, if you're interested, is on January 29th at Assabet, Division 4 and Division 9 and 10, I think it's the VOTEX, are partnering to provide a school safety and security workshop. That's at 6 o'clock. You have to sign up. They will provide dinner with that one. Who wants to go? They are welcome to, and that's on the NASC website. On February 13th, as I mentioned, is the NRSD Superintendent Evaluation session at CAPS Collaborative. So that one's nice because it's really close. That's February 13th at 6. They should be pushing that out on the NRSD website, but I will forward as soon as I see it. I spoke to Eleanor today, and she said she would send that out to me. And that will be open to school committee members, so if you can go, that's great. I think right now, that is all I have for me. All right, anything else? Anyone have any last minute comments? Since we were very quiet on our comment period. All right, and seeing none, we will be going into executive session. We are going into executive session for reason number 3, which is discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if a meeting has detrimental effect on a bargaining or litigating position in public body, and the chair so declares. This meeting will not return into open session immediately following. I will entertain a motion to do so. So I have a motion, do I have a second? And I have a couple of seconds, and roll call, Mr. Mason. Mrs. Batson. Mrs. Kosel.
Yes.
Mrs. Chartier. Mr. Marks. And Mrs. Hughes says yes, so we will be ending our public session and heading into executive session with a hopefully break for a few minutes and then come back. And I thank everyone for coming.